Amara sat on the cold hospital floor, her phone lying face down beside her, its screen cracked and dark. Her hands covered her face as tears streamed down her cheeks. Through the window of the intensive care unit, she could see her baby daughter Zara lying so small and still in the hospital bed, connected to tubes and machines. The doctors had said the words, but they felt unreal: severe dehydration, malnutrition, dangerously high fever. Her baby, her precious Zara, fighting for her life because of choices Amara had made. The nurse had found the messages on Amara's phone, hundreds of comments from her followers, thousands of likes on videos, but not a single photo of Zara from the past 2 months. Not one moment captured of her daughter's real life, only staged clips for content. Now, as Amara watched her mother-in-law Mama Akong holding Zara's tiny hand through the hospital bed rails, whispering prayers and songs, Amara understood what she had lost while chasing something that was never real. But would understanding come too late? 8 months earlier, Amara had been a happy new mother living in the busy town of Calabar with her husband Chidi. They lived in a modest flat near the market, where the sounds of vendors calling out their goods and children playing football in the streets filled their days with life. Chidi worked as an accountant at a small farm, and while they were not rich, they had enough. Amara had left her job as a teacher when Zara was born, planning to return after a year. Those first months with baby Zara were beautiful. Amara would sing to her daughter the same songs her own mother had sung. She would take Zara for walks in the evening breeze, pointing out the bright bougainvillea flowers and telling her stories about the world she would grow to explore. Chidi would come home tired but smiling, eager to hold his daughter and hear about her day. But Amara also felt something else, a loneliness she hadn't expected. While Chidi was at work, the hours stretched long. Her friends were all working or living in other towns. Her own mother had passed away 2 years before, and Chidi's mother lived far away in their village. Some days, Amara felt invisible, like the world had moved on without her. Then one afternoon, her old school friend Blessing came to visit. Blessing swept into the flat wearing a beautiful Ankara dress, her hair freshly braided, carrying shopping bags from expensive stores. "Amara." Blessing hugged her tight. "Look at you, my dear. Motherhood suits you." But Amara saw Blessing's eyes take in her old wrapper and faded t-shirt, the toys scattered on the floor, the tired circles under her eyes. While they drank tea and Zara napped, Blessing pulled out her phone. "Sister, let me show you something. This is how I've been making money since I left the bank." She scrolled through her TikTok account, dance videos, makeup tutorials, day-in-the-life clips. "See this number. 400,000 followers. Companies pay me to show their products. Last month, I made 200,000 naira just from my phone." Amara's eyes widened. 200,000 naira. That was more than Chidi made in 2 months of hard work. But how? Amara asked, bouncing Zara, who had started to fuss. "It's easy. You just post videos of your life. People love watching real mothers, real homes, real babies. You have everything you need right here." Blessing gestured around the flat. "Let me help you set up an account." That evening, after Blessing left, Amara couldn't stop thinking about it. She created a TikTok account and posted her first video, just her and Zara doing tummy time, with a popular song playing. 5 views. Then 12. Then 50. Her heart raced with each notification. "What are you doing?" Chidi asked that night, finding her still on her phone after midnight. "Just something Blessing showed me," Amara said. "It's a way to make extra money, Chidi. We could use it, right? For Zara's future." Chidi looked uncertain but nodded. "Just don't let it take too much time, my love. Zara needs you present, not just on a screen." Amara promised, but the seed had been planted. She started posting twice a day, then 5 times, then 10. She filmed Zara during feeding time, bath time, playtime. Her follower count grew: 1,000, 5,000, 20,000. Each milestone felt like a victory, like proof that she mattered, that she was more than just a tired mother in a small flat. But slowly, things began to change. Amara started to see everything through the lens of content. Instead of simply enjoying Zara's first laugh, she grabbed her phone to record it, missing the moment while trying to capture it. Instead of singing lullabies, she played trending sounds. Instead of long walks, she staged quick photos and videos, then hurried home to edit and post. "Amara," Chidi said one evening, holding hungry, crying Zara. "Her bottle has been empty for an hour. What have you been doing?" Sorry. Amara jumped up from where she'd been editing a video. It's important, Chidi. I have 60,000 followers now. Brands are starting to notice me. And what about Zara noticing you?" Chidi's voice was soft but sad. "She cries and looks around for you, but you're always on that phone." They argued, but Amara couldn't make him understand. He didn't see the opportunities she was building. He didn't know how good it felt when thousands of people liked her videos, commented nice things, made her feel seen and valued. Mama Akon, Chidi's mother, came to visit from the village the next month. She was a wise woman, respected in her community, known for her good sense and kind heart. She watched Amara for 3 days before speaking her mind. "My daughter," Mama Akon said one afternoon while Amara filmed a video, "I am worried. I see you with that phone more than with my granddaughter. This is not the way of mothers." "Mama, things are different now," Amara said, not looking up from her screen. "This is how we make extra money in modern times. Money is good, yes. But a child needs more than money. She needs her mother's eyes to see her mother's arms to hold her mother's heart to know her." Mama Akon picked up Zara, who had been sitting alone in her play area. "When I watch you, I see a woman who is here but not here. Your body is present, but your spirit lives inside that small box in your hands. You don't understand, Mama. I'm building something for our future, for Zara's future." Mama Akon shook her head slowly. "I understand more than you think, child. I understand that the most important time in a baby's life is now, not some future you're always chasing. These months, they don't come back. Once they pass, they are gone like water poured on sand." But Amara had stopped listening. Her phone was buzzing with notifications. One of her videos had gone viral. 100,000 views. She was so close to being a big creator, so close to major brand deals. The weeks that followed were a blur. Amara's account reached 100,000 followers. She got her first big sponsorship. A baby product company wanted her to promote their goods for 50,000 naira. She was ecstatic. But she didn't notice that Zara had become quieter, that she no longer reached for Amara the way she used to, that she started to look thin and tired. Chidi noticed. "Amara, when was Zara's last checkup? When did we last take her to the clinic?" "It's on my calendar," Amara said vaguely, scheduling posts for the week. "That calendar?" Chidi pointed to her phone. "The same phone you can't put down." "Amara, look at our daughter. Really look at her." But Amara was too busy to look. She had content to create, comments to answer, an algorithm to feed. She'd started waking up at 5 in the morning to film, staying up past midnight to edit. Zara's feeding times became irregular. Sometimes Amara forgot whether she'd given Zara lunch or just thought about it while filming a video. Then came the morning that changed everything. Amara woke up late, her phone dead because she'd forgotten to charge it. Panicked about missing her morning post, she rushed to plug it in. That's when she heard the silence. Too much silence. She ran to Zara's room and found her baby girl burning with fever, barely responsive, her lips dry and cracked. "Chidi! Chidi!" Amara screamed, scooping up Zara's limp body. Her phone lay forgotten on the charger as they raced to the hospital, Zara hot as fire in her arms. The emergency room was chaos. Doctors asked questions Amara couldn't answer. When was the last time Zara ate properly? How long had she had the fever? When was her last wet diaper? Amara realized with horror that she didn't know. She'd been so absorbed in her online world that she'd stopped truly seeing her real one. Now, sitting on that cold hospital floor, watching Mama Akong pray over Zara while machines beeped and hummed, Amara finally understood what she had done. The doctor emerged from the intensive care unit, his face grave. Amara jumped to her feet, her heart pounding so hard she thought it might burst from her chest. Chidi grabbed her hand, holding it tight. Mama Akong stood behind them, still whispering prayers. Mr. and Mrs. Okafor, the doctor said, removing his glasses and rubbing his tired eyes. Your daughter is very sick. The dehydration is severe, and the infection has spread. We are doing everything we can, but... He paused, and in that pause, Amara felt her whole world tilt. The next 24 hours are critical. We need to monitor her closely. I must tell you honestly, her condition is serious. Very serious. What are you saying? Amara's voice came out as a broken whisper. Is my baby going to die? The doctor's silence was answer enough. We are fighting for her, Mrs. Okafor. But you need to prepare yourself. The neglect went on too long. Her little body is very weak. The word neglect hit Amara like a physical blow. She collapsed against Chidi, her legs giving way beneath her. Around them, other families in the hospital moved and talked, but Amara had nothing except that one word echoing in her mind: neglect, neglect, neglect. Mama Akon began to cry softly, still praying. Chidi held Amara up, his own tears falling silently. And then, as if the universe wanted to mock her pain, Amara's phone began to buzz in her pocket. Notifications. Her followers wondering where she was, why she hadn't posted today, asking if everything was okay. With shaking hands, Amara pulled out her phone. The screen lit up with hearts and comments and messages from strangers who thought they knew her, thought they were part of her life. 150,000 followers. Thousands of likes. And her daughter dying in a hospital bed because she had given all her attention to people she'd never met while ignoring the one person who needed her most. Amara looked at the phone, at the bright, colorful app that had consumed her life, at the smiling photos of herself she'd posted just yesterday while Zara lay sick and unfed. Then she looked through the window at her baby girl, so small under the white hospital sheets, fighting for every breath. Something broke inside Amara in that moment. Something that had been building and building finally shattered. She drew her arm back and threw the phone with all her strength. It hit the hospital wall and exploded into pieces, screen, battery, case scattering across the floor. Nurses turned to look. Other families stared. But Amara didn't care. She ran to the ICU window, pressing her hands against the glass. I'm sorry, Zara, she sobbed. Mama is so sorry. Please don't leave me. Please, my baby. I'm here now. I'm really here now. Please just let me have another chance. But inside the room, Zara's small chest barely rose and fell, and the machines beeped their steady, uncertain rhythm, and no one knew if Amara's awakening had come in time or if the price for chasing false fame would be the highest price any mother could pay. The morning sun was just beginning to rise over Calabar when Amara felt someone gently shake her shoulder. She had spent the entire night on the floor outside the ICU, refusing to leave, her eyes fixed on the window where she could see Zara. Chidi sat beside her, exhausted but watchful. Mama Akon had dozed off in a chair, her prayer beads still clutched in her wrinkled hands. Mrs. Okafor. It was the night nurse, a kind woman named Sister Ngozi. The doctor wants to see you. Amara's heart stopped. This was it. The 24 hours were up. She stood on shaky legs, afraid of what she was about to hear. Chidi stood with her, and they woke Mama Akon. The three of them followed Sister Ngozi down the hallway, each step feeling like walking toward judgment. Dr. Adeyemi met them in his office. His eyes were tired, but there was something different in his expression now, something that made Amara's breath catch. "Your daughter made it through the night," he said, and Amara collapsed into a chair, sobbing with relief. "The fever has broken. She's responding to the 4 fluids and antibiotics. She's not out of danger yet, but she's fighting. She's a strong little girl. Can I see her? Can I hold her?" Amara begged. "Soon," the doctor said. "But first, we need to talk. Mrs. Okafor, Mr. Okafor, what happened to Zara was preventable. This level of neglect. I have to ask you directly, what was happening in your home?" Chidi looked at Amara, waiting for her to speak. Mama Akon sat quietly, her wise eyes sad but not judgmental. Amara took a deep breath and began to tell the truth. She told them about TikTok, about the followers, about how she had become so obsessed with creating content and gaining recognition that she had stopped seeing her own daughter. The words poured out like poison being drawn from a wound. Dr. Adeyemi listened without interrupting. When Amara finished, he leaned back in his chair and sighed. "You're not the first mother I've seen like this, and sadly, you won't be the last. These apps, these social media platforms, they are designed to be addictive. They feed on our need for validation, for attention, for feeling important. But Mrs. Okafor, nothing on that screen is more important than the real life in front of you." "I know that now," Amara whispered. "I know, and I will spend the rest of my life making it right." "Words are easy," the doctor said, not unkindly. "What matters is what you do from this moment forward. Zara will need constant care for the next few weeks. She'll need proper feeding schedules, medication, checkups. Most of all, she'll need her mother's full attention. Can you give her that?" "Yes," Amara said firmly, looking the doctor in the eyes. "I deleted my account last night from the hospital computer. I threw away my phone. I'm done with all of it." Dr. Adeyemi nodded slowly. "Good. Because I'm going to be honest with you, if Zara had come in even 12 hours later, we might be having a very different conversation right now. You came very close to losing your daughter forever." Those words would haunt Amara for years to come, but in that moment, they also strengthened her resolve. She had been given a second chance, and she would not waste it. They let her into the ICU an hour later. Zara was awake, her big brown eyes open but tired. When she saw Amara, she didn't smile or reach out the way she used to months ago. The distance between them was painful, a gap created by all the moments Amara had chosen a screen over her child. "Hi, my beautiful girl," Amara said softly, tears streaming down her face. "Mama's here. Mama's really here now, and I'm never leaving you again." She sat by Zara's bedside for hours, just watching her breathe, thanking God for every rise and fall of her tiny chest. Mama Akon came in and sat beside her. "My daughter," Mama Akon said gently, "I'm not here to scold you. You've punished yourself enough, and you've learned a hard lesson. But I want to tell you something important. In my village, we have a saying, the eye that chases two rats catches none. You were trying to be two people, a mother and a star on the internet. But you cannot serve two masters. One will always suffer." "I understand now, Mama," Amara said, holding Zara's small hand. "I was so foolish. I thought those people online cared about me, but they didn't even know me. They didn't know my daughter's name, her laugh, what made her happy. They only knew the fake version of us I showed them." "And why did you need them so badly?" Mama Akon asked wisely. "What were you running from?" Amara thought about this question for a long time. Finally, she answered, "I think I was running from feeling ordinary. After Mama died and I left my job, I felt like I had disappeared. Like I didn't matter anymore. Being on TikTok made me feel special, important, seen. But I was looking for the wrong kind of seen. Yes, Mama Akon nodded. You wanted strangers to see you, but you stopped seeing yourself. And more importantly, you stopped seeing this precious gift God gave you. She touched Zara's forehead gently. Real worth doesn't come from numbers on a screen, my daughter. It comes from the love we give and the lives we touch with our own hands, not through a phone. Over the next week, Zara slowly got stronger. The color returned to her cheeks. She started eating better, responding to treatment. And gradually, cautiously, she began to respond to Amara again. The first time Zara smiled at her mother, Amara cried with joy and gratitude. Chidi took time off work to be with them. He brought Amara fresh clothes and home-cooked food. They talked more deeply than they had in months, rebuilding the connection that had frayed. I'm sorry, Amara told him one evening as they sat together watching Zara sleep. I'm sorry I didn't listen to you. You tried to warn me, and I was too proud and too addicted to hear you. I'm sorry too, Chidi said, taking her hand. I should have done more. I should have insisted we get help. I saw what was happening but I didn't want to fight with you, so I stayed quiet. We both failed Zara, but we'll both do better. On the 10th day, Dr. Adeyemi said Zara could go home. But before they left, he asked Amara to do something. I want you to talk to the other mothers in the waiting room, he said. There are 3 women out there right now, all scrolling on their phones while their children wait for them. Tell them your story. Maybe it will wake them up before it's too late. Amara's first instinct was to refuse. She felt ashamed, embarrassed. But then she thought about how close she had come to losing everything. If her story could save even one child, wasn't it worth the discomfort? She went to the waiting room and saw exactly what the doctor had described: mothers on their phones, children tugging at their arms trying to get attention, being pushed away or ignored. Amara's heart ached with recognition. Excuse me, she said softly to the women. Can I talk to you for a moment? She told them everything. She showed them the hospital bracelet Zara still wore. She described the terror of almost losing her daughter. Some of the women looked uncomfortable and made excuses to leave. But 2 of them stayed, tears in their eyes. I've been on my phone so much, one mother admitted, a young woman named Chioma. My son keeps asking me to play with him, and I keep saying, later, later. But later never comes. It almost didn't come for me, Amara said gently. Please, learn from my mistake. Put the phone down before it costs you something you can never get back. The 2 women hugged Amara and thanked her. She saw them slip their phones into their bags and turn to their children with full attention. It was a small thing, but it mattered. When they finally brought Zara home, Amara saw their flat with new eyes. The toys scattered on the floor weren't mess, they were opportunities to play. The daily routine of feeding and changing and bathing wasn't boring, it was precious time she would never get back. Every moment with Zara was a gift she had almost thrown away. Mama Akon stayed with them for another month, teaching Amara the old songs and stories she had forgotten in her chase for new, modern things. She showed Amara how to be present, how to read Zara's cues, how to find joy in the simple, quiet moments of motherhood. You know, Mama Akon said one afternoon as they watched Zara play with colorful blocks, in the village, we believe that children are not just our responsibility, they are our teachers. They teach us what truly matters. Zara has taught you a hard lesson, but you learned it. Many people never do. Weeks turned into months. Zara grew stronger and healthier. The bond between mother and daughter, once broken, slowly healed. It wasn't easy. There were times Amara felt the pull to check social media, to see what she was missing, to wonder about her old followers. But then she would look at Zara, remember those terrible days in the hospital, and the urge would pass. Blessing came to visit one afternoon, her phone in hand as always, ready to film content. But when she saw Amara sitting on the floor, fully engaged in playing with Zara, really laughing and present, she paused. "You look different," Blessing said, putting her phone in her bag for once. "Happy. Really happy." "I am," Amara said, tickling Zara's feet and making her giggle. "I almost lost everything chasing something that was never real. But I got a second chance, and I'm not wasting it." Blessing watched them for a while, then quietly said, "Teach me. Teach me how to do this. I have a daughter too, and sometimes I realize I've been filming her life instead of living it with her." And so Amara began to help others, sharing her story not for likes or followers, but to genuinely help mothers find their way back to what mattered. She started a small support group in her neighborhood for mothers struggling with phone addiction. No phones allowed in the meetings, just real women, real stories, real support. 1 year after that terrible day in the hospital, Amara stood in the same ICU ward, but this time as a visitor to thank the staff. Zara, now a healthy, bright-eyed toddler, held her hand. Dr. Adeyemi smiled when he saw them. "Look at her," he said with pride. "You did this, Mrs. Okafor. You made the hard choice and you stuck with it." "I had no choice," Amara said simply. "She's my daughter. She deserves a mother who sees her, not a mother who's always looking at a screen." As they walked home that evening, Zara babbling happily and pointing at birds and flowers, Amara thought about how different her life had become. She had lost 150,000 followers, but she had gained something infinitely more valuable. She had truly found her daughter, and in doing so, she had found herself. The setting sun painted the sky in shades of orange and pink. Somewhere in the world, millions of people were scrolling through their phones, chasing validation from strangers, missing the real beauty right in front of them. But not Amara. Never again. She picked up Zara and held her close, breathing in the sweet smell of her hair, feeling the warmth of her small body, hearing her delighted laugh. This was real. This was what mattered. This was everything. And as they reached their home, where Chidi was waiting with dinner and open arms, where Mama Akong sat ready with a new story to tell, Amara understood the true meaning of wealth. It wasn't measured in followers or likes. It was measured in moments like these, real, present, irreplaceable moments of love. The lesson had been hard and the price nearly unbearable, but Amara had learned what her ancestors had always known, that the greatest treasures in life are the ones you hold in your arms, not the ones you hold in your hands.